quest for speed records has sent many a man and woman down this 12-mile long black line, and therein lies our story. Thrillmaker Sports has researched the record books and film archives and has come up with this remarkable collection of film history about the pursuit of the world's land speed record. The quest for the world speed record started in the late 1890s. The first established record was 38 miles per hour, set in 1898 by Count Lobau in a Janton 40-horsepower electric car near Paris. By 1924, the speed had risen to 146 miles per hour, set on Pendeen Sands, Wales, by Sir Malcolm Campbell in a Sunbeam. The accident rate rose in direct ratio to the speed. Sir Malcolm Campbell set many of the early land speed records in the 20s and into the 30s, ranging into the 200-plus mile per hour mark, running at Pendeen and Daytona Beach, Florida. Campbell set his goal to be the 300-mile-per-hour mark and came to Bonneville, Utah, where he finally reached his ambition when the Bluebird ran 301.129 miles per hour on September 3rd, 1935. John Cobb of England brought his super-streamlined Railton Red Lion over to the Bonneville Salt Flats in 1938. This car weighed 4,000 pounds and was driven by two ice-cooled Napier aircraft engines developing 2,600 horsepower. It took many tries, but John Cobb finally broke Campbell's 301-mile-per-hour speed limit and went 368.85 miles per hour. With the coming of summer, the ambitious speed record pioneers line up on the Bonneville Salt Flats for their assault on the world land speed record, a frontier which must be crossed by following the long black line. Dr. Nathan Ostage of Los Angeles, a physician and a speed enthusiast, brought out a new type of car in early 1960, a race car destined to become the first of its kind, a jet-powered racer capable of breaking the world land speed record. By August of the same year, the car was completed, and it had a potential of 400 miles per hour. A race car is composed of many parts. In the case of Dr. Ostage's car, the birdcage frame and chassis was completed at Hanson Brothers in Whittier, California. The J47 jet engine is rebuilt and modified at the Northrop Technical Institute. The body panels were hand-formed and fitted with painstaking care. The custom 9-inch, 8-ply nylon cord tires and 250-pound 4-foot wheels are put on at Bonneville. Final adjustments of wheel alignment are handled by project engineer Ray Brock. The flying Caduseus is finally ready to make the first run. Dr. Ostage recalls that day.
Up to now, everything was on paper: blueprints, plans, performance curves, and graphs. Of course, we had wind tunnel tested the models, and the slide rule boys had told us just about what to expect, but there's a big difference between theorizing and doing. Several days later, I started a high-speed run from the Salt Lake end of the course. I pushed the throttle all the way forward and let her go. never forget that run. The course was perfect, no wind, and the chute opened just as it was supposed to. But we were still a long way from doing what we came to accomplish.
Then, wind and rain, the old enemy of Bonneville racers, took a hand. In addition, the car developed steering problems at high speed. But the crowning blow came when weakened air intake ducts collapsed. Doc Ostage set no records at Bonneville in 1960. Not since the days of Campbell, Easton, and John Cobb had so many hopefuls gathered for a crack at the world land speed record. 4 contenders in all, which included drag racer Art Arfons, also from Los Angeles, with a home-built car which cost about $10,000. Arfons talks about his car.
I remember some of the newsmen called this car the Anteater because of the very unusual-looking snout on the front. As usual, I named it the Green Monster, except we didn't finish in time to paint it, but paint doesn't make a car run. Our power plant, similar to what we used on the drag strip, was an Allison aircraft engine, but we had equipped this one with a 2-stage supercharger. I soon found out this design wasn't going to get the job done, not with competition still to come. Besides that, I discovered you'd get a very uncomfortable feeling sitting way out front.
Donald Campbell, following in the footsteps of his father, Sir Malcolm, brought $4 million worth of car from England, only to have it end up as a pile of junk. A basic design defect was in the positioning of the cockpit, out front with nothing to guide on. Built-in movie camera tells a graphic story of the stresses received by the Bluebird. In August 1963, Craig Breedlove arrived with a 3-wheeled pure jet car and startled the racing world with a 407-mile-per-hour 2-way average, a high speed on one pass of 428.37. 1964 brings a measure of success to Donald Campbell with a new record for wheel-driven cars of 403 miles per hour at dry Lake Eyre, Australia. This Bluebird was powered by a turbine engine driving the wheels, different from a pure jet. Donald Campbell always carried his good luck teddy bear mascot with him on every one of his adventurous speed runs. In the fall of 1964, a strange new car rolls onto the salt flats carrying the famous Art Arfon's name of Green Monster. The power plant is a J79 turbojet capable of 17,000 horsepower with afterburner. The wheels, 18-inch light alloy with 700 by 18 Bonneville tires carrying between 160 and 200 pounds pressure. A new development is the automatically operated horizontal wing stabilizer on the front. The starting unit is completely external, a long notched shaft which will spin the jet rotor up to starting speed. Art Arfons was wondering how fast he had to go.
I came to realize that with The way things were going, 400 miles an hour would be nothing more than a warm-up run. So I began to think of 500 miles an hour. That's a nice round figure. But what did I know, or anyone else, for that matter, what physical reaction would be needed to drive a car at that speed? First, we had to find out if this car would handle before going on to others. On Monday, we rolled the car out. It was a perfect day. The salt was smooth. There was no wind at all. I decided to start from the Windover Inn and run north. When I popped the chute after passing the last light, I had a feeling we were working on a record. When I got the results, I wasn't impressed. 396 miles an hour. You're allowed 1 hour to check over the car, service it. An awful lot to do in a short time. Then you make the trip back. It's the average speed of the 2 runs that goes in a record book. I knew that on this south run, I was going to have to go at least 440 miles an hour to break the old record.
No, 479 miles an hour. A surprise new record holder climbs out, and the crew goes wild. Art Arfons holds a new record of 434.19 miles an hour. But Craig Breedlove is due on the salt in a few days, so the decision is made to try and put the record a little further out of reach in the time remaining. Suddenly, in the middle of the mile, Arfons pops his chute. A blowout at 450 miles per hour. He's in big trouble. The car wobbles down the course and comes to a stop. Safely. But those who saw it witnessed a miracle. The marks of the wheel rim point out a 2.5-mile gash, ending in a hole in the salt. Craig Breedlove came to the salt and knew he had to beat Arfons 450 miles an hour. Problems arose for Craig when his parachute tore off. The brakes couldn't stop the car, and Breedlove wound up in 15 feet of water past the end of the course. He set another new record, though, of 526 miles per hour. On Tuesday afternoon, October 17, 1964, Art Arfons climbed into the repaired Green Monster for his final assault on the world land speed record.
Well, I knew this was my last chance to do it. The weatherman said there were storms coming, and it was too late in the season to think about another attempt. But trying to beat 526 miles an hour, that's a pretty big order. At the windover inn, I found out the speed was 515 miles an hour, but I was going to have to do better on the way back. As usual, we had an hour to service the car. We're very careful with the kerosene. We strain it all to a cloth to be sure no dust gets in it.
The car is pointed north. Arfons is on his way. And he makes it. He has again broken the ever-climbing record with a top speed of 571 miles an hour for a two-way average of 536.71. This betters Breedlove's record by more than 10 miles per hour and gives Arfons clear title to the world land speed record, where it will be at least 10 months before the salt will be ripe for another try at the record. The American Gas Association decided to get into the Speed Act and designed and built the $500,000 Blue Flame, a rocket-powered car. Drag racer Gary Gabelich was recommended as a driver by Craig Breedlove after Craig declined the ride. And so Gary was a new name added to the list of the Speed Kings when he rode this Blue Flame down the salt flats. The three-wheel car was another departure from the established jet car principle because of the rocket power. A mixture of natural gas and hydrogen peroxide developed 22,000 pounds of static thrust. Gary set up his 5,000-pound car for his first run about midday on October 23rd, 1970. And he averaged 617.602 miles per hour. Gary reported that when he hit the throttle, his head snapped back, his vision blurred, and it felt like a waterfall of blood in his brain. About a half hour later, Gary took the Blue Flame on its second run in the opposite direction. There he comes now. And went even faster, 627 miles per hour. His average speed for a new world record, 622.407 miles per hour. In the 9 years since Gary Gabelich set his record, no one has been able to top it. This speed is approaching the areas of compressibility and the speed of sound. And breaking the speed of sound, which is about 740 miles per hour at Bonneville, is certainly the next frontier for the seekers of the world land speed record. Now the ear-shattering sounds of the racing cars are carried away by the wind. There is nothing left to show that anyone was ever here. No reminders, except for one. Straight as an arrow, stretching away towards the horizon. There's a long, black line.